On the day of the SATs, I was waiting for the bus when a girl suffered a heart attack. I was a good Samaritan and saved her. But after I walked out of the testing center, the internet had exploded. She posted a video sobbing, accusing me of groping her while I was performing CPR. She claimed, "No girl would use her own dignity to frame someone else." That one sentence got me canceled, pinned to the cross of public opinion. I swallowed my grievance, scored a near-perfect 1580, and waited for the mainstream media to interview me so I could clear my name. Instead, I waited until the news came that my parents had been run off the road and killed by the girl's extremist parents. When I woke up, I was back on the road to the bus stop. Hey, I'll just walk slowly. Oh, look at this rock, it's so big and round. Oh, this tree is so green, the flowers smell so sweet. I had been reborn. Reborn on the morning of the SATs. In my past life, because the testing center was downtown, I left 2.5 hours early to catch the bus. While waiting, the girl next to me went into cardiac arrest. My mom is a nurse, and I'm certified in CPR, so I immediately administered aid. I waited for the ambulance before rushing to the exam. But when I came out, I saw the entire internet calling for my head. The girl's name was Bella Vance, another test taker. In the video, she sat in her hospital bed, tears streaming down her face, claiming I took advantage of her unconscious state. Because it was an old bus stop, there were no cameras. It was early, and no one else was around to be my witness. Bella's line, "Why would a victim lie about her own assault?" sealed my fate. The online mob hit me like a tidal wave. My mom was a nurse. My dad ran a small, popular burger joint called Carter's Grill. When Bella's video went viral, our restaurant was trashed and forced close. My mom was humiliated at the hospital, literally having filth thrown at her. I knew the only way to get the media to listen to my side was to ace the test. So I suppressed my fear and rage and took the exams. When the scores came out, I got a 1580, Ivy League material. That same day, Bella jumped from the roof of the hospital and died. Her parents demanded $2 million in compensation from my family, hanging banners in our subdivision demanding I pay with my life. My parents, exhausted and sleep-deprived, were out making a delivery when they were chased by live streamers looking for clout. They crashed into a semi-truck driven by Bella's unhinged parents. Both died instantly. I was cornered too. I barely managed to escape the mob, but when I reached my apartment door, I slipped on oil poured on the stairs and broke my neck. My glasses flew off, but through the blur, I saw the neighbor's daughter, Chloe Mills, holding an oil can, her eyes filled with hate and twisted pleasure. Now I was back. I was 50 yards from the bus stop. Just around the corner, through the sparse trees, I could vaguely make out Bella's silhouette. But I didn't even glance that way. Instead, I tiptoed to pluck a wild rose extending from a garden wall and pinned it to my shirt collar. I pulled my headphones out of my backpack and started loudly reciting vocabulary words along with my language app. I recited while making exaggerated hand gestures. There was a pebble on the road. I kicked it as I walked. I accidentally kicked it too hard, and it bounced off a telephone pole, landed behind me, and rolled into the drainage ditch below the road. I was 10 steps from the alley. Bella swayed like she was drunk, about to collapse. But I turned around, chasing the stone, and jumped into the drainage ditch. My glasses got snagged on a low-hanging wild bush, so I took them off, put them in their case, and shoved them into my bag. The ditch was dry, filled only with dead leaves and stones. I dropped my bag, rolled up my sleeves, and started picking out stones one by one, lining them up on the curve from largest to smallest. They were so round, so pretty. The sun hit them, making them sparkle like gems. I'm taking a picture for Instagram. In my past life, at this exact moment, I had already reached the bus stop and discovered Bella's heart attack. It must be happening right now. Snap, snap, snap. I took a flurry of photos and posted them. I couldn't take all the stones, so I picked out a heart-shaped one, wiped it carefully with a tissue, and held it high against the sun. I read aloud, "Heart, H-E-R-T, heart, H-E-R-T." As I chanted, I started singing until tears streamed down my face. I have a prescription of -400. Without glasses, I can't tell a man from a woman 20 yards away. Trees are just green blurs. Only now, getting close, did the scent tell me the tree at the corner was a magnolia? Through the iron fence, I could see the white magnolias in full bloom, their fragrance intoxicating. Inside was a small garden where an old man was watering flowers, with cats and dogs running around. Under the eaves, a round security camera was pointed right at me. I pulled off my headphones and shouted, "Sir, your magnolias smell amazing." The old man happily plucked a flower and handed it to me through the fence. "Heading to the SATs, son?" I nodded. "Yes, sir. On my way to the testing center." He smiled kindly. "Good luck." Knocking edge. Thanks, I appreciate it. Seeing the wild rose on my collar, he clipped a few larger, more beautiful ones for me and added a few dinner plate-sized magnolias. This delay took another 10 minutes. Finally, a group of retired ladies carrying grocery totes and reusable bags walked toward me, heading for the bus stop. I trailed behind them, holding my bouquet of magnolias. One lady with a perm and a floral shirt smelled the flowers and looked back. Young man, where'd you get those? I squinted, remembering I wasn't wearing glasses, fished them out of my bag and put them on. The gentleman up ahead gave them to me. You like them, ma'am? Here, have some. I gave her 5 flowers. I distributed 2 to each of the other ladies, and we continued toward the stop. I didn't look for Bella. I only saw the landscaping on the side of the stop, slightly crushed, hidden by the advertisement board. The group didn't notice anything amiss initially. Smelling the flowers, I strolled leisurely at the back of the pack. Just as we reached the stop, the bus finally arrived. I chased it, yelling, "Wait!" The driver opened the door while still rolling. I took a large step up, found a window seat in the very back left, and put my headphones back on. The door remained open, but no one else boarded. On the platform, the ladies were chattering about the exams. The door closed, and the bus moved. It wasn't until the bus pulled away that a white-haired grandma noticed Bella's phone on the ground, and then Bella herself. She screamed, "Oh my God," and fell to the ground in shock. The other ladies rushed to help. Bella was lying in the landscaping, covered in dirt, her face turning purple. I never looked back. Actually, after my rebirth, I could have gone home and asked my dad to drive me. I could have taken a different route, called an Uber, or flagged down any car. The people of Chicago are helpful. If I said I was a test taker, anyone would have volunteered to drive me. But why should I change? Why should I run? Is this a road? I wanted to be right there, within her reach, watching her slide inch by inch into hell, while I remained untouched. I wanted her to look down the road in despair, staring at the direction I would have come from, waiting for a savior who never arrived. It's best if she dies. If she doesn't, she'll spend the rest of her life thinking, if only I had been a little slower or taken a different path, he would have been there. Regret is for the wicked, not the good. This isn't just killing, it's destroying the soul. The ride was smooth. I arrived at the testing center with 20 minutes to spare. This was my second time taking the SATs. Compared to the panic and near lateness of the last time, I was calm and methodical. I finished smoothly, went home, ate, and checked my phone before my nap. No news about Bella. When I woke up, my parents were home. My mom tossed me a wet towel to wipe my face. A student had a heart attack at a bus stop this morning. They brought her to our ICU. Don't know if she'll make it. My dad said, I heard about that. Terrible. Such a young age. Son, don't worry about it. Focus on your test. My parents are kind people. They were sympathizing with a girl who couldn't take her exam, unaware that in a past life, she destroyed our entire family. Didn't she say my CPR was unprofessional? That I groped her? She must prefer this outcome. That afternoon, I had more subject tests. I didn't want to take the bus again. I asked my dad to drive me in his pickup truck. Having lost them once, I cherished every moment with them now. My dad cleared the delivery crates from the passenger seat and wiped it down with a rag, complaining sweetly, "You're taller than me now? Nowhere to put those legs. I'm 18 and 6'4". My dad is 5'7". I was taller than him in middle school. Did he just notice? I squeezed into the truck, buckled up, and put a hand on his shoulder. Dad, after the exams, let's go downstate to visit Grandma and Grandpa, okay? He gently tapped the gas. Can't do that. You're going to college soon. I gotta save up for your tuition and maybe a condo. I rested my forehead against his broad shoulder, my eyes stinging. You can make money anytime, but I only get this summer once. Besides, we haven't gone back together in 3 years. I miss them. Because of my prep courses, I stayed in Chicago, even during the holidays. My parents took turns visiting the farm, so one could stay with me. My dad hesitated. I shook him. Dad, an 18-year-old guy whining like a kid. My dad couldn't handle it. All right, sit still. I sat back. My dad grinned from ear to ear. Fina, I just got a shipment in today. I'll sell through tomorrow, then no more orders. We head out the day after. We'll check your scores at the farm. Make your grandparents happy. Entering the testing center, I looked back to see my dad leaning against his beat-up truck, watching me with eyes full of love. My nose stung again. I made a fist and pumped it in the air. Mason, let's go. The test went perfectly. I was already a top student, a Harvard seed in my teacher's eyes. If not for the Bella incident, I would have had a bright future. Walking out, Dad was there again. Mason, hot out here? Tired? Hungry? He opened a thermos and poured me water asking a million little questions. I drank the water and stretched. Dad, I just want to sleep. In my past life, after the Bella incident, I never slept soundly again. After a full day of exams, my eyelids were heavy. Right, rest up. Big day tomorrow, he said, driving me home. Mom was on the night shift. Dad started cooking. I showered, dried my hair, and went to my room. I checked my phone. The internet was still calm. It looked like without me saving her, Bella's condition was severe, too severe to start trouble yet. But I knew how difficult her family was. The trouble was just delayed. Actually, Bella and I were middle school classmates. But shortly after 7th grade started, I tested into the honors program. I had zero memory of her. It was she who revealed it in her video, claiming I had been obsessing over her since middle school. She was like a rat in a sewer. Her hair was always greasy, like she hadn't washed it in months, and she had a strange smell. Putting our photos side by side, the accusation that I assaulted her had zero credibility visually. If she hadn't died, I absolutely could have turned the tables. But there are no ifs. In my past life, when the cyberbullying started, I received an anonymous photo. It showed a messy, closet-like room with walls plastered with photos of me. There were stolen items too. Towels I lost at basketball practice, water bottles, used pens, even old gym shorts and worn-out sneakers. The caption on the photo was, Bella's house. Bella had been stalking me, stealing from me, digging through my trash. She was a damp, dark pervert, and the suicidal kind. Her appearance at that bus stop during the SATs wasn't random. It was calculated. Bella's parents were misogynistic. They planned to marry her off right after high school. In the past life, before she jumped, she called me. She said if I agreed to marry her and give her parents $100,000, she would clarify everything to the public. It felt like a rat demanding a kiss. I was disgusted. Then she jumped. I recorded that call, but it was useless. Respect the dead meant I couldn't clear my name. But I never understood how she knew I'd be at that bus stop. I thought about my death, slipping on the oil, seeing my neighbor Chloe Mills through the blur. Chloe and I were in the same grade, but different schools. Our families had been neighbors for over a decade, but never socialized. Her parents were teachers at a private school, incredibly strict with her. Wake up, eat, study, sleep. Everything was scheduled to the minute. If she was late or missed a task, she was punished. Our bedrooms shared a wall. Countless times, I heard her parents screaming at her, calling her pig-brained, saying she was worse than the son of the burger flipper next door. Before opening the restaurant, my dad ran a food cart. He worked hard, upgraded to a storefront, and built a successful business. Sure, he wasn't a teacher, but he earned honest money. Who would they look down on him? I was naturally good at school, and to make my parents proud, I worked harder, consistently ranking first in the grade. I became the neighbor's kid that all the other parents compare their children to. Chloe's parents beat her and cited me as the example. My parents were open-minded and loving. Chloe's jealousy was highly probable. The next day, the exams continued. I did even better than in my past life. Harvard was a lock. Leaving the center, I told my dad I was going out with friends. Actually, I went to Best Buy and bought 3 spy cameras. I had a clear conscience, and I was a 6 feet 4 inches athlete. Physically, neither girl could hurt me, but I had to guard against their dirty tricks. I installed one inside our old security door, hidden behind a welcome wreath, one in the living room, and one at the top of my bedroom window frame, angled slightly so it covered 2/3 of Chloe's room next door. If her curtains were open, I could see right into her life. As soon as I linked it to the app on my phone, I nearly dropped the device in horror. On the wall facing Chloe's bed was a blown-up photo of me. A giant red X was drawn over it, with red liquid dripping down like blood. My face had been shredded by darts. I finally confirmed it. In my past life, she was one of the main culprits behind my death. The person who sent me that photo of Bella's room must have been her, too. I tried to trace that account later, but it was deleted. But now, the photo hadn't been sent yet. I made a burner account and found Chloe's profile. It was a secondary account, not many posts, but shocking enough. Animal abuse videos. The locations were clearly our apartment complex and the nearby park. Realizing I had lived next to a psychopath for 10 years, I broke out in a cold sweat. I immediately screenshotted and screen recorded everything, archiving it on a secure cloud drive. Looking through a following list, I found a familiar avatar. I logged in my main account and checked my followers. There it was. That user had never posted a single thing, but I remembered the handle. In the past, whenever I posted, this account would view it dozens of times. I suspected it was Bella. Right then, I took a picture of the heart-shaped stone I picked up yesterday, placed next to the potted jasmine on our balcony. I posted it with a caption, "Simple Joys." Then I shared a sweet, nostalgic article about childhood crushes. The day after the exams ended, My mom took 2 weeks of PTO, Dad closed the shop, and the three of us drove down to the farm. I played around in the country, but I kept an eye on the news about Bella. Sure enough, on the 6th day in the ICU, she woke up. Just like before, she went online and accused everyone at the bus stop, the 7 retired ladies, the bus driver, and me, of leaving her to die. Me? Huh. Bus driver? Huh. The 7 ladies? Excuse me. The internet? Huh. But she was undeniably pitiful. Because of the delay, 20 minutes before being found, another 20 for the ambulance. The damage was severe. Malignant arrhythmia, habitual ischemia. She couldn't take any stimulation or she'd risk cardiac arrest. Plus brain damage from 4 to 6 minutes of oxygen deprivation. An acute renal failure requiring lifelong dialysis. She was 18. It was the most important week of her life, and she had met her Waterloo. But just because she was tragic, do we have to pay the bill? Just like in a past life, the internet detectives went to work on everyone at the scene. Even though I was at the back of the group, I bore the brunt of it because I was also a student. Someone posted a photo of me leaving my building at 6:30 a.m. They argued that since it only takes 5 minutes to walk to the stop, but I didn't appear on the bus camera until 7:15, I must have been loitering. Even if he didn't touch her, doesn't he have a moral responsibility for walking so slow? What a reach. But I had receipts. My stone collection post was time-stamped at 6:50 a.m. My dad recognized the gardener, Mr. Henderson, as a regular customer. He contacted him and got the security footage from the garden. The time was clearly visible, and our conversation was audible. I was picking flowers with him at 7:00 a.m. Although it was near the bus stop, it was around a corner, visually blocked. Mr. Henderson even helped get footage from neighbors, proving I was on that side street the whole time until the lady showed up. The bus surveillance also proved I boarded before the bus stop sign, meaning I never even stepped onto the platform where Bella was. I never saw her. If this could still be blamed on me, then the morning breeze and the scent of flowers were guilty too. My evidence was ironclad. Even with trolls trying to spin the narrative, it didn't stick. Instead, I gained sympathy. I was just a high school kid, minding my own business, enjoying nature, now forced to flee to the countryside and close my family business. The retired ladies were even fiercer. They had called 911 immediately. One had recorded a video proving no one touched Bella until the paramedics arrived, protecting them from liability. When Bella's family tried to harass them, the ladies countersued for extortion and slander. You don't mess with Chicago grandmas, especially the one with the perm. She was a local legend. Unlike me, who had been too naive before. In this life, I'd rather be a selfish survivor than a dead saint. I will never help someone fallen by the roadside again. No matter how the story fermented online, my family stayed silent. On the day Bella woke up, I noticed that her account had visited my profile page over 100 times. So, I started posting a photo of a jasmine flower every day. No caption, just pink stickers saying love you and miss you. She went insane. She refreshed my page every 10 minutes, even at 3:00 a.m. I hope she'd die from sleep deprivation. Unfortunately, evil lasts 1,000 years. Not only did she survive, she started live streaming from the hospital to garner sympathy. She claimed her family was poor and owed money for the ICU. She was a student, a tragic figure, and with the beauty filters cranked to max, she looked somewhat delicate. People actually donated money. Finally, exam scores were released. My whole family gathered around the laptop. In my past life, under immense pressure, I scored 1580. This time, I didn't know. When we tried to check the portal, the score wouldn't load. My grandpa's eyes went wide. He thought the farm internet was acting up. Why? Why is it blank? My dad refreshed the page. Still nothing. He was sweating bullets. I held my grandpa steady so he wouldn't faint from excitement and whispered, "Grandpa, for the top 50 students in the state, the scores are sometimes masked until the press release." My parents realized what that meant. They screamed, jumping up and down, attracting the attention of my uncles and cousins next door. Did Mason get into Harvard? In our small farming community, getting into an Ivy League school was like bringing glory to the ancestors. Grandpa's hands were shaking. I rubbed his back while trying to get my dad's attention. "Dad, look at Grandpa." Grandpa waved me off, turning to hug me, tears in his old eyes. "Good boy, Mason. Grandpa is just happy." He barked orders at my dad. "Don't just stand there. Go to town, order meat, order tables. Tell the relatives. We're having a feast." He started flipping through the almanac for a lucky day. My great-uncle, a contractor, chimed in. "Order what?" "About a hog I was saving for Christmas." "Slaughter it. I'll cover the booze too." The whole village mobilized. That's when my dad's phone rang. I looked at the caller ID. It's a Massachusetts area code. My dad's hands trembled so much he couldn't hit the answer button. Grandpa snatched the phone, grumbling, "Useless." He answered, his voice unintentionally pitching up an octave. "Hello. Yes, I'm his grandfather. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you." My dad pressed his ear against the other side of the phone. My mom and Grandma hugged, crying and laughing. When they hung up, Grandpa and Dad were both weeping. They sandwiched me in a hug. "Mason, it's Harvard. You got into Harvard." I found out I scored a perfect 1600. I was the state valedictorian. TV stations started calling. The local news crew drove straight to the farm. I accepted interviews and parents everywhere praised me. I went viral again, but this time as a genius. The false accusation by Bella became a hot topic again, but now the public was firmly on my side. Conversely, Bella was torn apart. Her real photos and terrible grades were leaked. Her livestream chat was flooded with insults calling her an attention-seeking fraud. Back in Chicago, the principals of my middle and high schools wouldn't stop calling my dad. Dad couldn't sit still anymore. He wanted to go back to the city. He had a business to run. The feast would have to wait a few days. Grandpa and Grandma didn't object. They were paranoid someone would steal my acceptance letter if we weren't there to receive it. We piled into the truck. When we arrived back at our apartment complex in Chicago, we were welcomed like returning heroes. The scholar is back. We were surrounded. We had to get out of the truck. My dad knew everyone. "Mr. Carter, how do you raise a kid like that? A 1600? I didn't do much. He's always been smart. What does he eat? He eats at Carter's Grill. It's the beef patties, I tell ya. Look at his height. All beef." Dad pushed me forward. At 6 feet 4 inches, I stood there awkwardly while neighbors patted me down, claiming they were rubbing off some luck for their own kids. When we finally escaped, Dad tossed me the keys. "Go open the shop and clean up. I'm going to the supplier. Let's earn your tuition this week." He underestimated the valedictorian effect. Before he even got back with the meat, Mom and I were mobbed while mopping the floors. The neighbors crowded in to help. Someone suggested renaming Carter's Grill to Scholar's Burger. My friend arrived just then, and I almost hid my face in shame. "Mason, congrats." My class did well overall. Everyone was happy. 10 years of hard work, finally paying off. Everyone was praising me, treating me well. But I knew that in the past life, these same people had thrown rotten cabbage and eggs at me. Woman's. With the neighbors' help, business was explosive. We sold out of everything by midnight. The flower shop on the corner sent a massive bouquet. Sunflowers, roses, lilies. I picked out the carnations for my mom. I gave a bunch of red roses to my dad to give to her. We put the sunflowers in a vase in the shop. Walking home, my parents held hands, walking ahead. I carried the flowers behind them. I took a selfie with the red roses in the foreground, my parents in the midground, and our apartment building in the back. It also captured Chloe's window next door. I posted it. As we entered the building, the opposite door opened. Chloe's parents stood there with fake smiles. "Bill, back so late?" My dad, the businessman, kept his smile even though we didn't get along. Yeah, business was crazy. The neighbors are too kind. After some empty pleasantries, we went inside. I showered and rushed to my room. Sure enough, Bella was viewing my profile. My account was public, and many classmates had liked my post, asking if I was dating someone. I didn't reply. I opened the spy cam app. I screamed. She was right there at the window, staring at me. The camera was pointed directly into her hollow, dark eyes. My mom rushed in. "Mason, what's wrong?" On the screen, Chloe was pressing her ear against the wall, listening. I shoved the phone under my pillow and pulled a charger out from under my leg. Charger. Sat on the prongs. Mom sighed. "Big boy like you, be careful. Let me see if it broke the skin." No, it's fine." She glared at me. "Shy with your own mother." But she left. Since my rebirth, my window had been shut tight. I wanted to close the curtains, but that would be too suspicious. My parents might open them again. I jumped up and yanked the blackout curtains shut, then put on my headphones and watched the feed. Chloe was still pressed against the wall, eyes fixed on my window. Because of the angle, I couldn't see her face fully. But when she heard no more noise, she went berserk. She grabbed a handful of darts and threw herself at the poster of me on her wall, stabbing my face repeatedly. I had no doubt if I were there, she'd stab me 100 times. I dug my grip strengtheners out of the closet and started squeezing them while reviewing footage from the past few days. I found that on the last day of exams, Chloe's parents had obtained a copy of the test questions. They forced her to retake the entire exam at home, keeping her up until 2:00 a.m. The next morning, they beat her brutally. Chloe had underperformed. She usually scored around 1400, but she estimated she dropped 50 points. She didn't dare lie because the real score would come out. But when the scores released, she got a 1090. She was beaten until she was lying on the floor, unable to get up. They starved her and took away her snacks. That night, she stood by my window like a wraith, watching all night long. Every night since then, she had been there. Damn, no horror movie is as scary as a girl staring at your window with dead eyes all night. But compared to my family's death in the past life, this was nothing. I suppressed my disgust, opened the curtain halfway, and leaned against the wall. I took a selfie reflecting in the window glass. The shot captured my profile and, faintly, Chloe in the background. I added filters and stickers, turning the creepy image into a moody, artistic shot. Caption: "Don't worry, I'm here." Post. Instantly, Bella was online. I deleted the post immediately. I set the image to view once where possible. No trace left on the platform, but a deep gash left in a psychopath's mind. After deleting it, I shared a song, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Chloe had posters of that artist on her wall. I had heard her playing that song. Bella visited my profile continuously from midnight until 4:00 a.m. She listened to the song over and over. I did this every day for a week. Finally, the day before Bella was set to be discharged, my middle school alumni group chat started organizing a visit to the hospital. A classmate asked if I wanted to go. I left the group immediately and blocked the few remaining middle school contacts. The first thing Bella did when she woke up was accuse me. The news was everywhere. I didn't believe these classmates didn't know. Why play Saint now? I wanted her to know exactly how much I loathed her. And the more I loathed her, the sweeter I was with Chloe. Every night, we had our date across the wall, listening to the same music, watching the same stars. On the day Bella was discharged, my parents and I packed up and went back to the farm. We brought all my high school notes. Mom told me Chloe's parents had asked to borrow them. Said Chloe didn't do well and needs to repeat the year. Wanted your notes. I said we gave them away. Dad snorted. Those two used to look at us down their noses. Now that you did us proud, they want favors? We aren't pushovers. Why should we help them? Since the news of my score broke, neighbors had flocked to our apartment, trading tea, wine, and gifts for my used pens and notebooks. We didn't accept the gifts, but the respect was real. Chloe's family had the nerve to ask for free. Dad was practically floating. He hid my best notes to take back to the farm for my cousins, hoping to grow a few more scholars in the family. My grandparents treated us like royalty. They claimed I was the reincarnation of a scholar star. On the night of my celebration feast at the farm, my classmates in the city were having their reunion. I spent the day greeting relatives. I only checked my phone occasionally. I saw from Instagram stories that there was indeed a party. Chloe and Bella were at the same venue. That afternoon, Grandpa took me to the ancestral graves to burn paper money and tell the ancestors we had a Harvard man. Amidst the smoke, I kowtowed and made a wish. I hope Bella's madness kicks in tonight. I hope she takes Chloe with her. I didn't expect the ancestors to be so efficient. Late that night, I was woken by a call from a classmate. Mason, Bella is dead. Check the group chat. I opened the chat. Photos and videos were flooding in. I pieced together the story. Just down the street from my apartment, classmates were waiting for rides after the party. Chloe and Bella were walking together. They started arguing. People heard snippets. Bella had been on the phone with Chloe at the bus stop when she had her heart attack. The argument escalated into a physical fight. Just then, a dump truck sped by. Bella suddenly shoved Chloe toward the road. Chloe was vicious, though. She grabbed onto Bella. Both were pulled under the wheels. Bella was crushed instantly. Dead. Chloe's legs were severed, and she was dragged, leaving a trail of blood and skin. It was so similar to what happened to my parents. The classmates on the scene were traumatized. Passers-by called the cops. I lay under my quilt and laughed until I cried. Chloe survived, but had both legs amputated below the hip. She needed skin grafts from massive abrasions. The dump truck was an old rust bucket, and the driver wasn't at fault. They fell into him. The insurance payout was minimal. We finished the feast and stayed 2 more days before returning to Chicago. As we pulled up to the complex, we saw a crowd dragging a cart, marching aggressively toward the gates. I recognized Bella's father at the front. I told Dad, "Go to the restaurant. Don't stop." We parked at the shop and walked back to watch the chaos. Bella's family was hauling her body on the cart. In the summer heat, with only blocks of ice, the smell was already bad. People kept their distance. They claimed Chloe murdered Bella. But Bella's family had no logic. Respect the dead was their only card, just like in the past life. Chloe's parents locked their doors, then fled in the middle of the night. Bella's family didn't stop. They protested at the apartment, then at the private school where Chloe's parents taught. They hung banners, wailed, refused to bury the body, and live-streamed daily. Even the police couldn't stop them. Chloe's family was doxxed. The internet found out about the parents' abusive teaching methods, ignoring bullying and accepting bribes. Their careers were over. I helped things along, guiding netizens to Chloe's animal abuse account. Public outrage exploded. Her profile filled with curses. People sent funeral wreaths to her hospital room and photoshopped her picture onto obituaries, calling the whole family demons. Everything that happened to my family was happening to them. But it wasn't over. I kept training my grip, staying alert. Chloe's parents were unstable. Now their daughter was disabled, their money gone, their jobs lost, and their reputation destroyed. They were cornered rats. A biology teacher and a chemistry teacher. Who knew what they would do? I stuck to my parents like glue, never letting them be alone. At first, they thought I was being clingy, but after I explained my fears, they got cautious too. 1 week later, the official news broke of a mass poisoning. The trucking company paid Bella's family $50,000 out of pity. Bella's body couldn't be kept any longer, so they took her back to their village for the funeral. Bella's parents, having tasted the power of internet traffic from exposing Chloe's family, decided to turn the funeral into a spectacle. They invited the whole village and dozens of clout-chasing streamers, promising to continue the crusade against the Mills family murderers. Hundreds of people, over 1 million watching online. It was a circus, but when the food was served, everyone died. The streamers captured it all. I can't imagine the psychological scarring for the viewers. The killers were Chloe's parents. The day before, unable to accept her disability, Chloe had slit her wrists while her parents slept. Broken and insane, her parents drove to the funeral, poisoned the banquet food, and then set the place on fire, dying in the flames. Seeing the news, I finally exhaled, carrying my parents' reminders and the blessings of my family. I walked forward into my bright, Ivy League future.